Welcome to the Body by Bisson podcast. I'm coming at you from a new angle today. My name is Thomas Bisson and I am a strength and fat loss coach. I help my clients both online and in person. The purpose of this podcast is to share my experience and share my knowledge that I have accumulated over the past 10 years and help you get to your goals and help you achieve more of your results in a faster, more efficient time without making some of the mistakes that I have made. I'm going to be telling you what's working well for me and my clients right now, and sharing some of the biggest mistakes I see people make, including some embarrassing stories from myself. I'm going to try and keep on topic. I'm going to try and keep on point and not go off on some crazy tangent. And I'm going to try and keep the language as clean as possible. However, this is a topic, this is something I get very passionate and excited about. And I can't promise it's going to always stay that way. Hopefully, you're just going to enjoy the ride. But you do have my promise that everything I say in each video, in each topic, in each episode is going to be backed by my findings, scientific facts, and studies that I've done full research into. That being said, new information is always coming out, and I might get people presenting me with better solutions. If that's the case, I will probably change my mind over time. If that happens, I will make another video explaining why my mind has changed, what the evidence is that has caused my mind to change, and where you can find that evidence to do your own research and make the best decisions for your life and for your body. That being said, this is episode number 5. And to be fair, I was going to film this episode last week, but it gave me a bit of a challenge. I really struggled. I probably tried recording this episode about 4 or 5 different times, and I was unhappy each time. And so I took an extra week to think about what it is I'm trying to say, because this is a topic that most people really struggle with. And I want to make it as clear as possible to give you the tools and to help you overcome this challenge so you can succeed beyond that 3 months or 6-week barrier that keeps tripping you up, or is likely to trip you up down the line. And that is how to enjoy exercise and diet and the weight loss kind of lifestyle. How to enjoy that new lifestyle is the key thing. And here's the thing. I used to be quite a party guy. I would go out every weekend. I would drink. I would indulge in food and probably not sleep that great and just push myself through it. I was living for the weekend. And I thought at that time, this is my fun. I'm having lots of fun doing these things. However, when Monday would roll around, I would say, right, I've had so much fun on the weekend. It's now time to get serious. I've got to punish myself for the fun that I've had in the past. Now, this is a key thing, because most people, when they enter in, when they get to a point that they decide that it's time to change their lifestyle, the first belief that most people have is that they have to punish themselves for the choices, decisions, and actions they did before this point. Because everything that you have done, or they have done, and now I had done, has led you to this moment. So if you're unhappy with how you look and your health right now, everything you've done in the past has led you to this point. And for that reason, shame, guilt comes upon us, and we want to sort of chastise ourselves. We want to purge ourselves for our sins, if that's what you believe. But there is a big element of thinking that you have to be punished for these choices. And the opposite of having fun, if you considered that lifestyle as fun, is to live a more boring lifestyle, a more boring, ritualized lifestyle. And if that is the case, then you are instantly putting a time limit on how long you will stick to this new lifestyle. We see it every January. People have lived it up in December. They've partied, they've boozed, they've socialized, they've enjoyed themselves. Moment it hits midnight or 12:01 January, different way of life from now on. I'm going to kill myself in the gym. I'm going to work out 5-6 days a week, 2-hour sessions, and I'm going to starve myself of all the foods that I enjoy and just sit there eating chicken and rice. How fun. But it doesn't have to be that way. And I'm going to tell you why soon. But before I do that, I want you to know that it's not your fault that you're experiencing such a stark transition, that you're finding it so difficult to give up one way of life in exchange for another one. Okay, maybe I'm going a bit extreme by saying it's not your fault. It's not entirely your fault. There is some genetic level to it. So here's your quick history lesson. We live in the best time in human history. It's only been the past, I'm going to say 100 years at a stretch, and that's being generous. It's only been the past 100 years that human beings have not had to worry about starvation or drought, having access to food and water, key things. For all of human history beforehand, that has been our biggest problem, our biggest challenge. How do we overcome that? And to give you an idea of what that lifestyle looks like, you only have to go on YouTube to find, I think I watched an interview of some tribes that still do hunter-gatherer stuff. So they're still hunting their meats and still searching and doing all that kind of stuff. And they were asking these tribes people some deep philosophical questions like, what do you think the meaning of life is? Or what do you think makes a good person? And they were asking these deep questions. And when they was like, what, what's the meaning of life? And the tribesman would look and go, meat. Meaning of life is meat. Okay. What was your best day ever? Great question. The day we found meat and honey. And every time they asked the deep question, looking for profound answers, it was coming back to the day that we got to eat, the day that we found water. These were the days that big things happened for us. These are the big moments, because it meant we get to survive longer and we get to not know the pangs of hunger. This was human experience for thousands and thousands of years. And what the body genetically learned was that when it finds food or stumbles onto an energy source, whether it's carbs, fats, proteins, when it found food, it released endorphins, those feel-good hormones in your brain to say, yes, we want this, give us more, remember this feeling, remember how you found it, because we need more, we need to find it again, and we need to find it more often. So it's an overwhelming experience. That coupled with, we want to do as little as possible, because back then finding energy was tough. It took a lot of work to find energy. Whether you were a hunter or a farmer made no difference. Well, I think it was 200 years ago, 90% of the population were farmers. And they weren't necessarily farmers raking in the dough. They were farming to provide for their own families. So their own families had something to live and eat. And these are the challenges. It's like hard graft. So the body wants to resist hard work to save the energy that it has found, because it's found it infrequently and rare. So you've got those two genetic elements into it, that when you find food, when you find energy, enjoy it, consume it, and try and get as much in as possible, because you're not going to know when your next meal is coming from. And in terms of the exercise element, the reason why exercise feels so tough and we feel so like, I really can't be bothered, and the reason that Netflix and chill is more appealing to us, where you can just sit there and enjoy, is because your body doesn't want to spend all that energy. It's the most efficient machine in the world. It's always looking for the easiest way to do things. And that's what's led us to our problem now, because for the first time ever, we've not had to work for food. You're never more than 5 minutes away from something to eat, whether it's in your house already. You don't even have to go to the shop and make it anymore. People will deliver it to you, whatever that food happens to be. And this is the challenge people have gotten into. And those still genetically hardwired to give you that rush of positive emotions, like, yes, you've found this food. Let's remember this food. Let's indulge in this food again. Oh God, no. That short-term pain of doing exercise, we don't want to feel that straight away. We want to enjoy laying down and sleeping and conserving our energy. And that's kind of what we're battling against. We're battling against thousands of years of what the environment meant for us. Nature always wants to kill us. It's unfortunate, but it's true. It's not a friendly thing. There's a TV show I started watching called Alone. They take 10 individuals. You're allowed to select items, and then they get scattered all over the place. And they have to survive on their own, create their own shelter, get forage and hunt their own food through the worst conditions possible. I think the last one I watched, they were in Antarctica. So they've got to build a shelter that's going to help them get through -40 weather. And when you're watching these people, not only is the isolation a big challenge for them, which is completely something we'll cover another day, but every waking hour, you can see their whole mindset is on, how am I going to get my next meal? Where's the food coming from? How can I conserve more energy? All of these things are the biggest thing in their life right now. That's their whole consumed thoughts. And that's just them living what humanity had to go through most of our existence. We haven't learned how to resist those temptations. And that's why it always feels a bit more of a challenge to start with. But that's the basic grounding of understanding we have to have if we want to help you develop more enjoyment in your diet and exercise going forward. Because here's the other thing. Most people, when they think about doing the diet and exercise, they're trying to compare it. They're trying to compare the joy you get from it to the joy you would get from hanging out with your friends, boozing, going to restaurants, high-end food, eating a tub of ice cream, Netflix and chill. They're trying to compare the two types of pleasures, the two types of enjoyments, but they're not the same. But we'll go into that more in a minute. The thing is, when we get too involved into like the sugars example, as we're eating that high energy, you're getting that dopamine hit. When you eat sugar, you're getting an even bigger dopamine hit, and you're getting more addictive substances, and you're getting that massive rush, which is all about how to get quick fixes into us. How to be like, yes, we feel great. So then as mentally we start to have a bad day and we start to look for things that could perk us up, we will go to food. We will go to booze, because those are things that really can bring us up. It's medically and scientifically proven that food will boost your energy and boost your life. I remember my best friends and I, years ago, we did a 10-day green juice, alkaline diet cleanse. Oh my God, it was the most miserable time of my life. I've done some crazy things, but this by far was just awful. For 10 straight days, it was drinking a green juice. It was that whole I still had that punishment mindset. I thought I'd been living too free, too enjoyable beforehand, and now was my time. I had to pay the piper. Like, I have to, make up for my extravagant lifestyle of enjoying lots of food, and I've got to go on this alkaline juice cleanse to give my body a fighting chance. But it's miserable, and all it does is just, when you enter into that mindset of, I've got to put up with this bit of punishment to somehow get a reward in the end of a better body or a better health, the equation, like how that feels compared to like just having a few burgers and milkshake with your friends is just outrageous. And day 8, I think we were 8 days in, and my friend and I were sitting on the sofa and we're just head in our hands, miserable. Like we feel so sorry for ourselves. This juice was like not really even a juice. It was like frothy in the top, lumpy and connected at the bottom, and just nasty in between. No matter what we did to try and make it cold, it was always a lukewarm, and it would probably take me 20 or 30 minutes to get through it. And one day, my friend's wife said to us, "Oh, how about I make you a pea soup?" So even though it was not technically allowed because of we were on this green juice diet for 10 days and we're only day 8, we were able to rationalize and justify it because the pea soup was green. So, it felt pretty cool to say at the time. Now, I don't know if you've ever had pea soup, but when that first mouthful of this warm pea soup, it was like the most emotional experience ever. I mean, my eyes welled up. I felt like crying, and I just couldn't believe, like, life just felt better. And so the reason I'm sharing that story is because if you're going on this type of like, I'm going to restrict, I'm going to push myself, I'm going to really make myself suffer for the choices I've made, and I'm going to punish myself for it. The time that you get to a point where something from that previous lifestyle can be introduced again, you're going to latch onto it even harder, and it's going to pull you straight back because the justification and the rationalization around it is going to be, why on earth would I do that? Life is for living and enjoying, not for whatever the hell that was. And that's something that I've had to learn many times over the years. And it's something you will have to constantly remind yourself of, that life is not about punishing yourself, that what you consider to be good and fun in those times are just different types of good and fun. And it's time to experience a new experience of it. And so this is why I want to introduce the better way, what I believe to be a better way. And this is the way I teach my private clients. And the first thing I will say is keep it simple. When you're changing your lifestyle, you've had years and years of that previous lifestyle, the lifestyle that's led you to this moment. You can't just erase that, or you can't overwrite it in the space of a couple of weeks or months. It takes time as well. So start simple, keep it simple. Choose just one thing and slowly start to make that change. Build up your confidence with it. It's not a punishment. Start with the belief that, first of all, you're worth it, and that your life is worth celebrating. Your life is worth experiencing what it's like. Imagine the previous lifestyle has all been about survival. It's been about pushing yourself to the limit, like sleepless nights, lots of party, lots of hours, high energy, pushing yourself, caffeinating, sugar inducing, all of that kind of stuff. That's just survival. Just trying to get to the weekend, or just trying to push through the week. That's what that is. This next phase you're about to enter into is about thriving. How can you thrive at life? And what does that mean to thrive at life? It's a bit like Limitless. If you've ever seen the movie Limitless, I would highly recommend it. You get to see what life is like for this normal guy, and the whole movie is a bit like dimmed. All the colors are sort of brought down. It's a bit grayish, and he gets introduced to this like tablet that is meant to let you access 100% of your brain. And the moment he takes it, like instantly the whole screen just becomes vibrant, filled with more color, and he's hearing things better, feeling things better, becoming more aware of his surroundings. And that's the transition that we want to move you to. Unfortunately, though, there is no one pill that you can take. This is a slow, progressive thing to work on. And that's why step one will always be keep it simple. Give yourself a fighting chance. Just when you think, oh, I've mastered this for a week, I'm sorry, my friend. Try and tell me that again after you've done it for 2 months. Then you can start to look at adding in the next thing. That's my advice to you. And that's where I've seen the most success, when we just slow things down, focus on one thing, and try and do it well. Try and do it to the best of your ability, and trying to do it consistently. That's where you start to see the magic happen. The next thing is about becoming obsessed with yourself. And I don't mean that as in like looking in a mirror and be like, oh God, you're so beautiful. I mean that in a way of find out what you enjoy. What actually do you like to do? And use this chance, use this experience to discover more about more about yourself, more about what you enjoy, more about the things that you like. Are there different skills you could develop? Are there different hobbies you might have an interest in? And the more interested you become in yourself, in about finding out and experimenting with yourself, the better the results are going to be, because you're going to start to become more in tune with your body, and you're going to start to notice that, oh, when I have this, it doesn't really work for me. So for an example, I know for me with coffee, I am technically allergic to coffee. It breaks out my skin, and I have to suffer the consequences. I could get away with 1 coffee a day if I wanted to, but I try and space it out. But if I have a day where I have 2 or more, then my skin's, I mean, you can even say today I've had 3 coffees and my skin is a little bit red here. It's the reaction that's happening. And so, but I know that why that's happening, and I'm more aware of it in my body, because, it's just, I've got to discover more about my body and find out what works for it and what doesn't. So a way of finding the fun and finding the enjoyment is actually just taking a more detective kind of approach to your own health and fitness. What really works for you? Because not everything does. I don't care what fitness mogul, what nutrition company you mention. Anytime someone tries to sell you the one cure-all, it instantly brings up red flags for me, because not everything works for everyone, because we all have different needs and wants. So keep that in mind. Find out what is your body needs. What do you need to feel happy? What do you need in your lifestyle? And the next thing is, when I mentioned people comparing enjoyment from diet and exercise to enjoyment from going out with your friends and partying. Going out with your friends and partying, enjoying a packet of biscuits, enjoying a Netflix show, all of those things, it releases the dopamine effect, which gives you that sense of, it's like a rush of like, oh yeah, this is cool, this is fun. But it's very short lasting. It's short-term pleasure, which can lead to long-term pain. Short-term pleasure that can lead to long-term pain. Eating a bag of buttons, the sugar, the chocolate tastes great, enjoyable, get the sugar rush, your energy spikes up, you're feeling fun, and you're laughing with your friends most likely. That short-term pleasure, but you keep doing it because that's what the short-term pleasure is what keeps you coming back. But you keep that up to the point where it becomes a habit, you start gaining weight, you become more at risk of diabetes, you become more at risk of even tooth decay, I would have thought. And all these other things start coming into play, and you face that long-term pain, and that's the pain you have to deal with in the end. Whereas exercise and a healthier form of eating, I'm going to say a healthier lifestyle of eating, because I don't really like the word diet, it's short-term pain. It is. Exercise is painful. It's painful to, like I said, to push yourself and to exert yourself and to spend energy your body doesn't want to spend. However, you get the endorphins, which take a little bit longer to kick in. So dopamine rushes happen for sugar and quick, more whimsical kind of enjoyments and pleasures. And endorphins happen after it's been earned. So after you've done exercise, you push yourself through the pain, and then it's the endorphins that you feel, which are more self-esteem building. It's like, wow, it's more of a sense of achievement that you're feeling. You're not responding to a quick rush of pleasure. You're enjoying the fruit of your labor. And it's a bit like, I think that a great example is you could go out and sleep with and have sex with as many people as you want. You know, you're probably going to enjoy every new partner, every new experience. And in the short term, it's very enjoyable. It's very pleasurable. That's why lots of people do it. But it's in the interim where they're left alone that they feel that, oh my God, I'm alone. I feel this way. It's miserable. And then they start looking for that next fix to chase that high, that real endorphin high. Whereas the dopamine high, sorry. Whereas the better way is finding yourself a relationship where you can really share and experience different things, and you grow as a couple and as a person. And it gives you takes a lot more work to do those things, but the payoff is much, much longer and gives you a greater sense of fulfillment inside, because it becomes about more than just the physical quick fix stuff. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, obviously leave me a comment and let me know, and I'll think of a better analogy. But yeah, so exercise, eating better, yeah, it's probably going to be short-term pain. With the nutrition, less so, because there are ways you can make food that's nutritious for you, tasty. But with exercise in particular, it's going to be a short-term pain, long-term pleasure. Just think, if you are pushing yourself, you're exerting yourself, your muscles are tearing, and you're going to feel the pain of the workout straight after. Once that's recovered, you are now stronger. You now have access to more energy, which means you can indulge in your life and do the things you love to do with more zest and more fun and excitement. That long-term pleasure is about being a stronger person and not becoming someone who deteriorates over time. It's about being that person who has created that, like, a strong physical body that allows them to embrace challenges that come up and to embrace their life to the fullest extent. And I think that's the best way I can kind of explain it. Probably one of the best examples as well is, you've got to treat yourself like you're a high performance vehicle, which you are. What you put in is exactly the kind of energy that you're going to give out. If you're living on a diet of coffee and, I know that sounds a bit hypocritical because I've had 3 coffees today, but if you're living on a diet of coffee, high sweets, and, you know, like simple carbs and all that kind of stuff, you're going to have a lot more ups and downs emotionally. Your energy levels are going to be ups and downs, probably going to feel more agitated often. Whereas if you're giving yourself the stuff that your body needs, not only are you going to feel that in your daily life, you're also going to see it in the way you present yourself. The reason why I think this way is superior, first of all, you have to, I'm going to break this down because I know I've gone on for a little bit now. The first step is understanding that life is all about flourishing. It's about thriving and what you can do to thrive. So if you're looking at that as your standard, if that's your standard and what you're aiming for, then punishment is not the way to do that. So you've got to find things that you feel connected to, the things that you enjoy to do, whether that's walking, whether that's a new sport, whatever that happens to be. People say to me, Tom, I hate the gym. Well, don't go to the gym then. There are plenty of other ways to do what you want to do. Find a sport that you get excited about. And then what you'll find is, as you get more involved in the sport and you get better at the sport, the gym will come as a subsidiary. Subsidiary? as a supplement. Let's go with supplement. The gym will come as a supplement because doing the work in the gym is going to make you better at your sport because you're going to be stronger and more able. Even if that's playing with your kids, you want to play with your kids and pick your kids up and play football with your kids, not have them outrun you and you have to find the excuse to sit down and say, oh, daddy's tired, and, deal with that kind of thing. It will help you be able to have that energy to keep up with your children and to be that role model that you want to be. Doing this will help you build a better relationship, not only with the people around you, but with yourself, because you're now giving and listening to yourself in a way that's going to progress you forward. And by focusing on that, by doing that, your self-esteem is going to go up as well, because you're now seeking enjoyment from achievement and you're feeling a sense of pride. That's the enjoyment side of things, and that's how you can enjoy the exercise. That's how you can enjoy a healthier eating lifestyle, because you've built up a sense of pride in the achievements that you've had to do. And when you start doing that, everything else kind of fits into place. So I just want to reiterate that. Currently, that's very simple breakdown. Currently, people, when they make that change from their previous lifestyle to a new one with exercise and healthier eating, they're taking it from a stance of, I need to punish myself for all of the things that I've done before. And what I'm saying is, if you start from a place of, right, I want to thrive, I want a better lifestyle, and this is what that better lifestyle looks like. So if you, for example, if you look a year into the future and you say, a better lifestyle for me, and the way I can thrive as a person means I'm playing football with my kids, or I'm playing football. Let's keep it just simple. So your first step would then be, okay, where can I go to start playing football? It could be kicking around in the garden to start with, doesn't matter. But doing more and more of it, getting more excited about it, getting into a local team, a five-a-side team, Sunday league, whatever that happens to be, and getting better at that. Feeling yourself become proud of the new skills you've developed, the sense of achievement you've got because you're now playing full-length 90-minute games. Then you'll start to notice that your food changes and that you're doing more exercise to support and help you play better, to be less likely to be injured. That's the way I would say to go forward. So if you want to find a way to enjoy exercise, start becoming interested in what you really care about. And unfortunately, no one can tell you that other than taking some time to figure out for yourself. But let me know what you think. What do you think is the best way to enjoy exercise? Has this been helpful? If so, great. I'd love to hear about it. If not, if it's been a total waste of time, I'd love to hear that too. It means I get to improve next time, because I know for a fact, to help me thrive, I love teaching this stuff. I love talking about this stuff, and hopefully you like hearing it. So please like, comment, share. Would love to hear from you. And till next time, thank you.